postseason play. FC Cincinnati and Philadelphia are battling it out for top honors in the Eastern Conference. Soccer guru Neil Sika joins us now on Ohio Sports Magazine to break down these moves. Good morning.
Morning, Jay. Great to be with you.
Thank you. You too. Is Wessam Abu Ali the answer to the void left by Cucho Hernandez for the Crew?
Well, the Crew brass and the Crew fans sure hope so. He's a different type of player than Cucho, and he'll be a guy that typically stands inside the box, maybe runs outside a few times in the channel, but more importantly, he's someone who's brought in to score goals in bushelsfuls. And I think that's ultimately what the Crew have been missing this season. They've created a lot of chances. Diego Rossi's been in all-star form, but a lot of those chances have been left unfinished. And you're waiting and wanting for that if you're a Crew fan, and if you're going to make a run at a trophy. I think Wilfred Nancy knows that. They need that elusive designated player forward that's going to be a match winner, that's going to win games for them, especially when it comes time for the playoffs. This guy scored a hat trick in the FIFA Club World Cup. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury ever since that competition, but a chance maybe for him to debut against New England, work himself in over the next couple of days. And I think it's a system where he can just go out and play, doesn't have to think too much. The chances are going to fall for a player of his caliber, and it's going to be exciting to watch if you're supporting the black and gold.
How has Andres Herrera impacted the team, and what do they mean when they say his agreement is loan to buy? That sounds like I'm going to rent a house.
I think that's common in the soccer world. You see 3 to 6 month loan stints sometimes to see if a player will work out and fit in an environment. And then if you really like him and he flourishes, you can pick up his full contract option. You see it all the time. And I think for teams that are on salary caps and in smaller markets, it makes great fiscal sense because you're not overcommitting to a player for the long haul. And Andres Herrera has been a very good fit for Columbus in that wingback role. And they've got several who can play there. He missed a lot of time because he was getting his visa in the process because his initial loan was up. But to bring him back now, it just adds depth to a position that provides a lot from the flanks for the Crew.
Was the Daniel Gazdag acquisition a good one?
On paper it was, and I think there's still time to figure that out. I think he's a big part of what they'll do going forward with the likes of Wessam Abu Ali, and now that you have a true number 9, some of the pressure is off of Daniel Gazdag. But in his career, despite scoring a lot of goals with Philadelphia, a lot of those were penalties. I do think he puts himself into great positions. His running is illustrious. There's a fit for him with the Crew now, and I think with Abu Ali's addition, there's less pressure for him to think that he's got to be the guy or score a lot of goals. But if they can get 5 to 6 to 7 more goals from him now, then you're really humming in that attack.
Now, the Columbus Crew was not the only Ohio team active ahead of the trade deadline. Did FC Cincinnati really need to make changes given how well they were playing?
Honestly, I think they're loading up, and you look at what they did in the transfer window, Jay. If they don't win the Supporter Shield or they don't win MLS Cup, I think it's a very big disappointment. They need to win a trophy. They just added Brenner at the deadline, their former Brazilian forward who comes back from Udinese in Italy. He was excellent his last couple of seasons. Now you've really got a three-headed monster with him, with Kevin Denke, with Evander. It's one of the more fearful attacks in the league. They've added depth to the midfield and the defensive midfield because Wobodo's been hurt for much of the season. So I think you go out, you had a player like Dominic Marchuk, who was from Real Salt Lake. He can play wingback. DeAndre Yedlin is going off to Real Salt Lake in a separate deal. So they've really recalibrated this roster to go for it. They're tied with San Diego on points for the Supporter Shield. I think they've loaded up and done a really good job adding depth all around the park for them to make a real push at being a champion this year.
Now you got to help me with this next guy's last name. Samuel, is it Guidi?
Guidi, yes.
Good for me. How is he going to? That's right. How is he going to impact the team for FC Cincinnati?
You I think two of these younger guys that are in the midfield that I just mentioned, the Wobodo injury, they haven't been able to rely on him. They've had Brian Nunga, who's a journeyman, but a steady defensive midfield presence in there along with Buka. I think Guidi is younger. You can take some time for him to really get his feet wet and step into that midfield, but I think it's more about the depth right now with Cincinnati adding some young pieces because of the games that you're going to play down the stretch. They're going to be very physical when we get to the playoffs. Those games have high intensity. You're going to need pieces to rely on, especially in the central midfield and the way they play with their 3-5-2.
Now, Ayoub Jabari is on loan from Grenoble. Do we think he's automatically gone at the end of the season, or is there a chance he's going to play for Cincinnati next year, too?
It's a possibility. I think you never rule anything like that out. And talking about Herrera with the Crew, if the pieces fit and it's something that makes fiscal sense, that's where I think you got to give so much credit to Chris Albright and Pat Noonan and some of the shrewd moves they've made to really just recalibrate the whole image of FC Cincinnati after their first couple of years in the league to now one that can be considered a title contender and has made for a great rivalry with Columbus. So looking into that picture with Jabari, he could be someone that they could look to extend should the season go well in the short term for him with the loan.
Now, one team that we haven't discussed but needs to be discussed is Philadelphia. They pose a significant threat to FC Cincinnati for dominance in the Eastern Conference. Where do they stand in terms of their push to the playoffs?
I had Philadelphia's game last weekend, and they rested a lot of guys because they're also playing for a U.S. Open Cup title. And I think they have a lot of young pieces that really fit in Bradley Carnell's system, the coach who was in St. Louis for a couple of years, and now with an opportunity in Philadelphia that they roster that has a lot of high soccer IQ. Quinn Sullivan, Kai Wagner have Quinn Sullivan's really kind of come of age here in this season as a playmaker for them, but they press you death by 1,000 attacks in the final third, and they're going to come after you and create opportunities. And you got a four striker room that they play often with two. The pressure that they provide, these guys can go 50 to 60 minutes at high intensity, and then you rotate on, whether it be Baribo, Olaski, the likes of Damiani, who I think there's a lot of good pieces there in the midfield, steady defense. The question for Philadelphia is, and always has been, young players, but also their depth, and when the games matter most, do they have an absolute match winner like an Evander? And that's where I think Cincinnati would hold the edge, or even Columbus for that matter. Rossi or Abu Ali are players that can go out and single-handedly win you a game. Philadelphia's got a great team, but it remains to be seen when push comes to shove in a big game, who's going to make the difference for them.
All right, we want to thank Neil Sika for joining us. We're going to find out how it all plays out, and there's more Ohio Sports Magazine straight ahead on the Ohio News Network.
Other stations in town have started using AI voices. It's because they're cheap and they think you're stupid. Well, we may think you're stupid, but we don't think you're cheap, damn it. We're live and local with real people. The Fan, Ohio's real human destination.
Ben Sattler, Assistant Vice President, Commercial Lending, on what makes First Bank of Central Ohio successful.
What we do as a community bank is really, listening to, that company, finding the solutions that best need their business and is not just a universal product that you could get anywhere else.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Burnt out, foggy, running on caffeine and willpower? It's time for a reset. Hydrate Me Med Spa brings next-level wellness to Central Ohio with medical-grade IV drips, NAD Plus for brain and energy support, and ozone therapy to detox at the cellular level. This isn't just self-care, it's a system upgrade. Feel sharper, sleep deeper, perform better. Now open in Dublin, Grandview, New Albany, and Granville. Book your drip at hydratememedspa.com. People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and a multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I cannot imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
On Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app. New customers opt in and get a free lottery ticket. Download the app and start ordering lottery tickets today. Use code VOCAL. That's code VOCAL on Jackpocket. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 or older. Jackpocket is a lottery courier and not affiliated with the Ohio Lottery. Opt in for $5 in non-withdrawable lottery credits that expire in 168 hours. Terms at jkpt.co/draw5.
Make your long summer holiday weekend a good deal better by stocking up on your favorites during the Buy 5, Save 5 sale at Meijer. Buy 5 or more and save $5 or more when you mix or match over 2,000 items store-wide, like Meijer shredded or chunk cheese, 24 packs of select Coca-Cola and Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable. Brawny paper towels and Dixie Family Pack paper plates and bowls. The Buy 5, Save 5 deals at Meijer. That's the good life, a good deal better. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
He's at the 10, the 5, touchdown! This is what the Buckeyes train so hard for.
Just like Valvoline Instant Oil Change, their techs train like pros to deliver expert service every time.
Wait, are we talking football or oil changes?
Both. Whether it's the Buckeyes on the field or your car in the bay, it's all about preparation and precision.
Can't argue with that.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Visit VIOC.com/Buckeyes today.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit OutdoorStewards.org.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
This year's Guardians season has unveiled an offensive weakness that was present last year, but without last year's pitching, the team can't bank on close games anymore. There is hope in the farm system. Ryan Mitchell from the AAA Columbus Clippers joins us on Ohio Sports Magazine to talk about a few players that could be the future of the team. Always good to talk to you, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. Glad to be with you.
Always good to be with you. Let's start with Travis Bazzana, the second baseman promoted to the Clippers from AA Akron. What's next for him and how fast?
Well, how fast will determine on what's next. There are steps along the way that everybody has to reach. Even if you're a number one overall pick and the top prospect in the organization, there are things that Cleveland wants to see each player sort of master as they go up the ladder. And master may be a strong term, but benchmarks to achieve, I suppose, is a good way to say it. And Travis has had 11 games now, or just over that, for the Clippers. And, you know, when you look at the results so far, it's not enough of a sample size to put too much stock in the numbers. But visually, what I've been able to see so far is he has a very good command of the strike zone. He has more walks than strikeouts. That's a sign of a guy that knows the strike zone pretty well. The hits haven't really been falling in bunches for him yet, but again, it's such a small sample size that I don't know that you want to take anything from that. You want to look at the swing decisions and then the kind of contact he's making, and both of those have been encouraging. He's only been playing at second base, and he's made all the plays so far, so that obviously is encouraging as well. And for a guy that was taken number one overall, there's a certain amount of pressure there. He's talked about the fact that he's just going about his business and doesn't think about that so much. But the fact of the matter is there is pressure on when you do that sort of thing. And you have to perform at a certain level, or you're just going to kind of get yourself into a hole where you are mentally trying to dig out of that rather than letting your physicality show. And what we've seen from Bazzana so far is the physical tools are definitely there for him.
Let's move on to the pitching department. Tommy Mace and Ross Carver are right-handed pitchers that were also promoted from Akron. How are they doing?
Well, they have been trying to find their way. Tommy Mace is a second-round pick, and that's a guy, obviously, there's a lot of investment in from the Guardian standpoint. He looks the part. Big, tall guy, has a good arsenal. But, again, we're at a point that we've just not seen a lot of him. The numbers at the other levels look encouraging. But at the AAA level for relief pitchers, when you talk about a brief period of time at a level, there are so many pitchers on a AAA roster now with the roster expansion a few years ago that guys don't pitch more than twice or sometimes even once a week out of the bullpen. So it can be hard to gauge exactly where they are. There have been encouraging signs for Tommy Mace as well. And Ross Carver is a guy they acquired in a trade from Colorado, and so they obviously saw something they liked in him. He's gotten some opportunities as well at the AAA level, but you look at what they both have done at the lower levels and you think, okay, when we get to the end of the season and there has been a body of work, then we can kind of look at it and evaluate more fully. At this point, there just hasn't been enough time at the AAA level for me to really have a whole lot of a sense of what they bring to the table.
How do you feel about Cooper Engel? He's the catcher, and what I want to know is, do you think he can hit?
Well, that's what the Guardians think that is going to be one of his best attributes, is hitting. Now, so far for the Clippers, and again, he came up the same day that all those other three did, so it's only a couple of weeks at the AAA level. And as a catcher, you don't play every day, so the sample size is even smaller. Not a lot of hits so far, but as I said with Travis Bazzana, a really good idea of the strike zone. Again, like Bazzana, more walks than strikeouts, and so that's encouraging. When somebody has a really good idea of the strike zone, the numbers are going to come. A lot of the on-base percentage may come from walks, and that's okay. The point is to avoid making an out when you're at the plate. And if you draw a walk, they've been telling you since Little League, a walk is as good as a hit. But for Engel, I think the walks are only going to be a part of it. I think he's got some power. I think he's got good bat-to-ball skills. And of all the catchers in the organization, Cleveland feels like he's the most advanced and has the most potential offensively. Now, does that come at the expense of defense? I'm not sure yet. In the time behind the plate, he's handled the pitching staff. He's done what you need a guy to do. Catching is such a difficult thing, and especially going from AA to AAA for a catcher, you're dealing with the ABS system, which he's never dealt with before. You're dealing with the PitchCom system, using the electronic device to tell the pitcher what pitch to throw. That's something he's never dealt with. Oh, by the way, you've got to learn an entire pitching staff. Oh, by the way, you got to hit AAA pitching that you're facing for the first time. So good luck, kid. So if somebody doesn't have a great start to a AAA experience as a catcher, don't read anything into that, because there is so much going on that any one thing is going to be very tough to master early on.
Parker Messick started the season with the Clippers, and he was called up and looked great against the Diamondbacks. Can he be a rotation savior, or once again, is it too soon to tell?
Well, saying anybody is a rotation savior is going to be very, very difficult. I mean, that sort of moniker has been hung on a lot of guys over the years, and there are very few of those pitchers in baseball for any team. Parker Messick, I think, as long as he just remembers who he is and stays within himself, is going to be a solid contributor at the major league level throughout his career. And I think any organization, if you told them everybody comes up as a solid major league contributor, they would take that, because there's such a range of fringe guys and all-stars and Hall of Fame type players that if you get solid contributions 1 through 9 in your batting order and from your rotation and your bullpen, you're probably going to be a pretty good team. Parker Messick is a guy that he's got a lot of confidence. He understands what he does well, stays away from the things that maybe he's not doing as well. I think he's built to succeed in the major leagues because of his mindset and mentality and demeanor every bit as much, if not more, than the physical tools that he has. He's got, as a left-hander, throws upwards of 94 miles per hour, usually sits about 92 with the fastball, but the secondary stuff and the willingness to throw it in tough counts against good hitters, that's one of the more impressive things about Parker. I just think he has the mentality and the mental toughness to succeed at the major league level.
We want to thank Ryan Mitchell from the Columbus Clippers for joining us. There's more Ohio Sports Magazine straight ahead on the Ohio News Network.
Now is a great time to schedule a back-to-school dental appointment. Dr. Hal Jeter, president of the Ohio Dental Association, is here to tell us more.
Your child's teeth and gums need the right food, nutrition, and vitamins to grow strong and stay healthy. Help them maintain good oral health by brushing every morning and night, flossing, visiting the dentist twice a year, and developing good eating habits. As kids head back to school, it's important to know that foods and drinks high in sugar, acidity, and other cavity-promoting substances are often low in nutritional value, and they have the potential to create plaque capable of damaging tooth enamel. A back-to-school dental appointment can diagnose any potential problems and improve your child's oral health. Ohio Dental Association member dentists are located throughout the state, are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care, are bound by the highest ethical standards, and obtain superior ongoing education and training. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association so you know you are being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit ODA.org.
Proper tree care is an investment that can lead to increased personal enjoyment. Prevent winter tree damage by scheduling winter tree work now. Winter can be tough on trees. Heavy snow, ice, and wind can cause serious damage. Don't wait until it's too late. Now is the perfect time to schedule winter tree work. Pruning during the dormant season keeps your trees healthy and helps prevent costly storm damage. Visit trees4ohio.org to find a qualified arborist near you. That's trees4ohio.org. Let's keep your trees strong all winter long.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton.
ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts. From the Ohio News Network. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
The Cincinnati Bearcats football team finished last year's season 5-7 overall, having lost their last 5 games in a row. They play in the Big 12 Conference, and while the finish last year was an improvement over the year before, the Bearcats are not where they want to be. They're hoping returning players and transfers are the key to making a bold push this year. Legendary broadcaster Dan Hoard, who calls radio for both the Bearcats and our Cincinnati Bengals, joins us now on Ohio Sports Magazine. Welcome, sir.
Good morning. Great to be on with you.
Thank you. We're glad you're here. Question 1, how important is it for the team to have Brendan Sorsby at quarterback again this year?
It's huge. Brendan Sorsby is a very good player who's gaining experience. He started a few games for Indiana 2 years ago. He started every game for Cincinnati last year. He's still got 2 years of eligibility left. And earlier this year, The Athletic ranked every starting quarterback, every projected starting quarterback in college football, number 1 through number 136. And they had Brendan Sorsby number 20 in the country. So if you've got the 20th best quarterback in college football, you've got reason for optimism that you can have an excellent season.
Yeah, that's huge. The team, though, lost its top 4 receivers. So how's that going to affect this year's offense? Is he going to run the ball more?
No, I don't think so. In this day and age with transfers, you can lose returning players and not have much continuity, but bring in far more talented players. And I think that's what Cincinnati did at the wide receiver position. They're all new names for Bearcat fans, but they're going to get to know them very quickly. The 2 guys that stand out the most are Cyrus Allen. He is a transfer from Texas A&M with blazing speed. And then Jeff Caldwell from a very small school, Lindenwood in Missouri, but he's 6'5", and he is one of the most freaky athletic players I think Cincinnati has had in a long time. He broad jumps 11 feet 9 inches, which I think would have been 7 inches better than any wide receiver at the NFL scouting combine last year. So those 2 guys and others give Cincinnati the opportunity to have a really good passing game.
So he's the guy you want in the leapfrog contest.
Yes, you do. Among other things, I think Jeff Caldwell has a good chance of playing in the NFL, but he is taking a big step up in competition from Lindenwood to the Big 12.
I should say so. Now, a quarterback is largely dependent on the success of the offensive line. Will transfers Joe Cotton and Tarantayo provide enough line protection for Sorsby, in your opinion?
Well, they're both good players, but that's one of the biggest question marks on the team this year. They have 3 offensive linemen, and they're still in NFL camps right now. So when you lose 3 NFL caliber offensive linemen, it naturally becomes a question mark. The 2 guys that you mentioned, Joe Cotton and Tarantayo, are both highly regarded transfers. Joe Cotton started the last 2 years at left tackle at South Dakota. Tarantayo has been a starter the last couple of years and an all-league player at Ball State in the MAC. And they've got a returning center at Cincinnati that's been a starter for several years. The right tackle has had experience. So it's a mix of some returning players and transfers, and they're hoping that it's going to be solid. But again, because of the guys they lost, that is a legitimate question mark.
How good is Dante Corleone on defense, and how will he lead that side of the squad?
Dante Corleone is tremendous. He's going to be in the NFL, and he's going to be there for a long time. He had blood clots in his lungs last summer, couldn't work out, couldn't go through football training camp, and he was still an all-league player in the Big 12. The blood clots are behind him now. He's in great shape. He's ready to have a monster season and try to improve his draft stock. They call him the Godfather because of his name, Dante Corleone, and he makes offers that you can't refuse up front on the defensive line. He is a terrific player, and he is the key to Cincinnati's defense.
What about Cincinnati's special teams? Any concerns there?
It's a major reason why they did not finish with a winning record and go to a bowl game last year. They gave away close games in the margins, and it often came down to special teams. They punted pretty well last year, but I would say in every other special teams category, they did not do well. So they've got a new special teams coordinator. They've got a new kicker. They've got a new punter. Their new kicker comes from Charlotte, and he was Mr. Perfect last year. Didn't miss a field goal, didn't miss a PAT. By mentioning that, I virtually guaranteed he will miss his first kick on Thursday night against Nebraska. But he didn't miss any last year, and the new punter was second team all SEC at Arkansas 2 years ago. So they think it's going to be a big upgrade, but we'll see.
Let's look at the schedule. Does the schedule allow them to finish better than 5-7 and possibly get a bowl berth, or are they going to stall out?
I think the schedule is favorable, mostly because they've got 7 home games. And they do play some of the lower regarded teams in the Big 12 at home. They've got Arizona at home. They've got UCF at home. In the non-conference schedule, they've got Bowling Green and Northwestern State, a couple of teams that you'd obviously expect them to beat. So I think it's a fairly favorable schedule, but the Big 12 is so difficult to project. Last year, the team that was picked for last place, Arizona State, won the championship. The team that was picked for first place won 5 games. I don't think there's any power conference that's harder to project than the Big 12. I would say that probably 11 of the teams in the league have a chance, at least, of winning the championship. And I would put Cincinnati in that category. Do I expect it to happen? Probably not, but I can't say that I would be shocked if it did.
When you look at these 12 games, who's the opponent that gives you the most pause?
Nebraska, just because of the circumstances of the game. So they open against Nebraska at Arrowhead Stadium. Technically, it's a Cincinnati home game, and I'm not including this among the 7 home games that I mentioned earlier. But for all realistic purposes, it's a Nebraska home game. It's much closer to Lincoln, Nebraska than it is to Cincinnati. The majority of the fans are going to be rooting for the Cornhuskers. But as I have mentioned to the Cincinnati head coach, Scott Satterfield, Nebraska fans wear red. Cincinnati's colors are red and black. Just tell your players to look into the crowd and not listen to what they're saying, and you'll think it's a home game. So we'll see if that works. But in any case, it's a challenging game. Nebraska was a good team last year. I think they're ascending under Matt Rule. They had a winning season for the first time in 8 years. They won a bowl game. So the circumstances of the game and the fact that it's a Big Ten opponent makes that first one difficult and intriguing, to say the least.
All right. We want to thank Dan Hoard for being with us, and hope you'll come back in a few weeks to talk a little bit about the Cincinnati Bengals as well.
Would be happy to do so.
All right. There's more Ohio Sports Magazine straight ahead right here on the Ohio News Network.
It's hot out. Stay in the house and cool yourself with the sweet sounds of The Fan. You can watch on YouTube or tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 The Fan. It's the equivalent of putting ice cubes down your pants. All right! The Fan.
You're kind of cute. Ugh, gross. Can I come over to your house one time and you not have your husband prancing around in his tidy whities?
Well, I can't do laundry because our septic line is clogged.
Call Dormar. They do same-day plumbing repair. Dormar! You're kind of cute.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
At Kroger Pharmacy, we make it easy to get flu, COVID, and RSV vaccines. They're available at no cost to you with most insurance plans. No appointment needed. And we're open weekdays, weeknights, and weekends. So come and visit us when it's most convenient for you. Kroger Health, a world of care is in store. Vaccines subject to availability. No cost to you with most insurance plans. Check with your plan for eligibility. Restrictions and exclusions may apply. See site for details.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. American Family Insurance can help protect your dream home for whatever comes next. You can live in your own oasis or your own clubhouse. Whatever you choose, get the right coverage. Save up to 23% by bundling home and auto. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We got a higher home appraisal after we put away our African art and family photos.
Has this happened to you because of race or national origin? Contact HUD at hud.gov/fair housing. A message from HUD and the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Fan weather
from the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunday, plenty of sunshine out there with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. We'll be back down in the 50s Sunday night. Clear skies. Labor Day, sunshine near 80. Mostly sunny on Tuesday, high in the low 80s. A pop-up could be possible with better rain chances brightening by Wednesday. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is ONN.
We're in the thick of week one of the 2025 college football season. Because of the Labor Day holiday, several games featuring top 25 teams are in action Sunday, with an intriguing Power 5 matchup Monday featuring Texas Christian playing at North Carolina in the first game for Bill Belichick as he begins his college coaching career. The biggest game of the weekend will feature number 3 Ohio State hosting number 1 Texas Saturday, August 30th at Ohio Stadium in Columbus. It's the first college start for sophomore quarterback Julian Sain. The 5-star Sain from Carlsbad, California, was initially committed to the University of Alabama as an early enrollee, but he entered the transfer portal after Alabama head coach Nick Saban announced his retirement. Sain soon committed to Ohio State and served as the third-string quarterback last season. Paul Feinbaum covers college football for ESPN. He joined Bo Bishop earlier this week on ONN affiliate WBNS FM in Columbus. Paul says expectations for Julian Sain have always been extremely high.
I mean, he was going to be the next one. And when I say that, we're talking about a run of Jalen Hurts, Tunga Vailoa, Mac Jones, Bryce Young. And that circle was broken finally by Jalen Milroe being in many ways a bust. So, yeah, I mean, he was going to start for a couple of years. From an Alabama standpoint, if Julian Sain goes out there and lights it up Saturday and the Buckeyes win and Caleb Downs does exactly what he's supposed to do, you talk about some angry Alabama fans. They're not a factor in this game, but some of their players are, and I think that's really significant.
It's a hell of a sliding doors. Like if he just stays at Alabama, what happens in college football over the last couple of years, because he really had it set up. Let's go to some of the other ones, obviously. My hunch is are you at LSU Clemson? Is that where your group will be Saturday?
We actually not, and I don't know what kind of rules the Big Ten Network has, but we are not allowed to go to a road game. We only can do neutral site or home. You tell me, when you start going down to what's the next best game, there are none. So we will be in Atlanta for that doubleheader of Tennessee-Syracuse, which I don't think a single person in Columbus will watch. No. It's on at the same time. And then the other game is Virginia Tech and South Carolina.
That's an interesting one on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Does Brian Kelly need that one Saturday night in Death Valley? Because this team for Dabo, to me, looks like a team that maybe his last great shot to go win everything.
Brian Kelly does need it. Now, he won't be fired if he loses, although there'll be a few people who would like to see him fired. But the problem he has, in addition to all the things you've heard about them not being able to win a opening game since 2019, is that he has a loss now, and he still has a home game in 2 weeks with Florida. They may be very good. He's at Alabama. He's at Ole Miss. He deals with Oklahoma. The cushion becomes very nerve-wracking for Brian Kelly if a couple of other schools are really good. Now, I do think for either Ohio State or Texas, they can probably all afford a third loss because of this opening game. Clemson can't because of the league they play in.
No, I think that's spot on, absolutely. So in the months that you've been building up to this, is there a team in the South, ACC, SEC, that we're not talking about enough? And is there a team where the bubble will burst, maybe even potentially this weekend?
I don't think LSU's bubble burst, but Tennessee could lose to Syracuse. They were. I guess I don't need to remind your audience they were a playoff team last year. It really didn't seem like it. Not a team that matters a whole lot to anybody, but the Auburn-Baylor game is interesting just from a hot seat standpoint. Hugh Freeze loses that, and they'll be going through resumes trying to figure out who his replacement will be. They don't play a big game this week, but they do in a couple weeks at Notre Dame, and I think Texas A&M is a team that is being vastly underrated. I think they have a chance too.
I'm glad we're here. You've never had an opening weekend like this, have you, buddy? You can't remember one with this many great games.
No, I mean there have been some good ones. Back in the day, Notre Dame, Michigan was maybe a 1-2 30, 40 years ago, but there's never been there's never been two games like Clemson, LSU, and the Buckeyes game, and then I still think Notre Dame, Miami is a massive game on Sunday night.
We'll be back with more Ohio Sports Magazine next on the Ohio News Network.
Other stations have crappy ratings and they wonder why no one listens. So instead of investing money in local talent, they fire people and plug in AI voices. Gee, real entertainment. Well, all of our dummies are real, damn it. The Fan, Ohio's real human destination.
Save big money on your next project. Now at Menards. Shelter Logic offers a great selection of storage solutions. From easy-to-assemble canopies to durable steel frame shelters and garages. They offer protection for vehicles, boats, and yard equipment with easy drive-in access. Save big money on Shelter Logic storage solutions and check out more great deals happening now in our weekly flyer on Menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu, fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
For a limited time, you can enjoy a savory sausage McMuffin with egg meal, including golden hash browns and a small hot coffee for just $5. Price and participation may vary.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This is This Date in Reds Baseball with team historian Greg Rhodes.
The 1869 Cincinnati Red Stockings were baseball's first professional team, and they were a powerhouse that year, going undefeated. And on this date, August 31st, the Red Stockings really flexed their muscles, beating up on another club from Cincinnati by a score of 103-8. Yes, 103 runs in one game. Now, how could that happen? Well, in those days, pitching was underhand, and the attitude of pitchers was also different. They didn't try to dominate a game. It was more throw it in there and let them hit it. Well, the Red Stockings really hit it to the tune of 103 runs on this August 31st, 1869. This date in Red Stockings baseball.
This Date in Reds Baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
We could tell you what makes Giant Eagle special, but we think our customers say it best.
I love the fresh produce. I love the fresh meat.
I'm pretty sure the fish guy knows me by now. We're buds.
I love to grill. That alone keeps me coming back.
The people that work here are so nice and so helpful.
Everybody loves the cakes from Giant Eagle.
On every shelf, in every department, we're always going for better, because being your Giant Eagle matters.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
Get Eagle.
ECO. Aaron, what's your favorite holiday?
Labor Day.
No, really. What's your favorite holiday?
Labor Day?
Get Eagle.
ECO.
Labor Day is when we celebrate the working people of America.
Like plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians?
Sure, but we're also celebrating nurses, police officers, office workers, firefighters, school teachers, landscapers, and those people who faithfully pick up our garbage on trash day.
And waiters and waitresses?
And car mechanics and
daycare workers. We can't leave out daycare workers. Hooray for Labor Day!
Jerry, when you look at working people, what do you see?
I see the people who built America.
I see love.
Love?
Love with its sleeves rolled up.
Wow. Working people are the people who take care of everybody.
Labor Day is when we celebrate the working people who built America and keep it strong.
Happy Labor Day, everyone.
Get Eco at geteco.com.
Enjoy all the football this weekend, but remember to join us for Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. This is ONN.
It's been a rough week here for the Cincinnati Reds. We're joined now by Steve Offenbaker, host of the Locked On Reds podcast. And Steve, the Reds, it's not been great, but they've had some chances here. They've had the bullpen with some struggles recently that's really affected them in the standings, at least, according to wins and losses. What can we attribute some of these bullpen struggles to?
Well, if you look at this bullpen, they're pitching in an extraordinary numbers of games this season. Tony Santillan right now, I think, leads the league in appearances. He keeps going back and forth, first and second in appearances. You start putting that kind of wear on an arm. You know, we're almost through August, heading into September. People are going to wear out. They're going to be tired. They're going to need extra rest. And I think that's what we're seeing not only with Santillan, but we've seen it with Pagan. We've seen it with Scott Barlow. Everybody's showing signs of wear and tear.
I want to go back real quick, speaking of the bullpen, to those couple games, the first two games in that series against the Brewers. Are we going to look back and pinpoint those two games as maybe a reason the Reds didn't make the playoffs?
No, those games for sure on that list. I kind of have a list of those games, right? You can go all the way back to opening day to find the first one when Ian Gibaut comes in and blows that save and gives up the opening day win. So you look at those, and those are the games the Reds could have. Those are the games the Reds should have won. And yeah, those Brewers games are for sure on that list because that was a prime opportunity to gain a lot of ground. And this team continues to tease us, right? They toe right up to the line of making us believe, and then they trip over it. So it's like you never quite know what's going to happen.
With the bullpen, it could be getting some help in the form of some healthy starters. Nick Lodolo made his return this week. Chase Burns should be back soon. Will we see possibly Chase Burns join Nick Martinez in the bullpen?
Well, that's something that Terry Francona has said, that was an option. So I know that in the past, in his college years, Chase Burns was never really thrilled about the idea of pitching out of the bullpen in any scenario. But if you're in a playoff push and it helps the team, you know, these are professional athletes, I think he'll go. It really would be a pun intended shot in the arm for the bullpen to get Nick Martinez and Chase Burns down there and really just take some of the workload off of guys like Santillan and Pagan and Barlow because they really need some help. And these will be some arms that can come in and give you multiple innings on multiple days. So it really would bolster this bullpen.
It sounded like the injury to Tyler Stevenson wasn't much, and they were expecting him back, and then he goes on the IL. What's the latest with Tyler Stevenson and his health?
So he has a fracture on the tip of his thumb, of all things. And it's not really something where they have to wait for that spot to heal for him to come back. It's more a problem with being able to play through the pain that it's going to cause catching a baseball with that hand. Now, while he was out in Arizona on the road trip, he went and saw a hand specialist who made a custom fit foam, think of it like a cast, but not quite a cast. They fit it to his hand and they fit it to his glove with the idea that maybe it will help him be able to power through and play through the pain. So now it's a waiting game. It's a waiting game for it to heal enough for him to be able to play through it.
It's put a lot of pressure on Jose Trevino. Did the Reds have any idea when they signed him in the offseason that they were going to get the type of production they have from him?
It's probably what they hoped for. At one point, Jose Trevino was an all-star for the Yankees and had a really good year, kind of like the year he's having right now. I don't know that they counted on Jose Trevino to play as much as he has. I think they thought he could be a really good fill-in for the times they just needed a fill-in, but not be the primary catcher. But he's turned into a very good primary catcher right now. He's played a lot of games. And boy, how smart does the front office look signing him early and locking him up. He's going to be around here for a lot of years and be a big part of what the Reds are able to do with these young pitchers and what they're able to do at the catcher position.
Speaking of guys that we hope are around for a lot of years, there's a lot of fans clamoring right now for the Reds to call up Sal Stewart. Do you think we will see that here moving forward? And how big of a role is he going to play in a playoff push?
Yeah, I think we see him in September. He's going to get a cup of coffee. He's going to get that call up. The thing to remember, though, is he's never played in the major leagues. He'll be making his debut. You don't know what you're going to get. I caution fans to not do that thing we do in Cincinnati, which is set expectations so high that the only thing the player can do is disappoint. He's going to come up. He's going to learn. The whole point of the cup of coffee, the call-up at the end of the season, is to get him a little bit of exposure to the majors and prepare him for next year where he may compete for a job. So if he comes up, I look for him to get playing time, but he's not going to be the missing piece that puts this team into the playoffs. He's going to be a piece that gives guys some rest, lets them be healthy, and allows them to propel this team forward. Think about Spencer Steer a few years ago. Similar type of playing time, similar type of numbers, I would suspect.
Definitely give the Reds fans, though, something to look forward to, plus a playoff push down the stretch. Steve Offenbaker of the Locked On Reds podcast, thank you so much, as always, for your time.
Appreciate it.
More of the Ohio Sports Magazine next on the Ohio News Network.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, you might not be big on technology, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Maybe you've gone through a divorce or a bad breakup or a relative moved out. It's been hard, and you just want to take what you want and leave the rest behind. I will help you. Retiring and want to sell your commercial properties or land. I will help you. Sellers, whether you're selling as is or selling for top dollar, you're no longer alone. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Got a teen athlete? Then you know putting in the hours is all part of the game. But did you know the same goes for learning how to drive? Because just like playing a sport, learning to drive takes practice. The only difference is the stakes are even higher. 50 hours of practice time driving with you? Worth every minute. Gear up at teachyourteentodrive.ohio.gov.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton.
ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network.
Do you have foot pain? Foot pain is not normal regardless of your age or job. Podiatric physicians are the most qualified doctors to care for your feet and can provide important foot care solutions or shoe inserts to better manage foot pain. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. We've been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Imagine what it would feel like getting tackled head-on by a 240-pound linebacker. You'd be in serious pain, right? But if you're unbuckled in a car crash at just 50 miles an hour, you become a deadly projectile that can slam into other passengers with 8 times that amount of force. Don't let someone else take the hit. Buckle up and visit buckleup.ohio.gov to learn more. Brought to you by ODOT and ODPS.
The Fan. Ohio sports destination. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Now, let's get some highlights from the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Here's producer Colin Behringer to set the scene.
Thanks, Jay. This week on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, Jay Crawford breaks down the Cleveland Browns defensive line and explains why he believes this might be the best supporting cast Myles Garrett has had during his time in Cleveland.
To me, what Myles Garrett has done is even more impressive. He's done it alone. He hasn't had that wingman, except for Clowney, who I think had 10 sacks that year.
That's the only guy that's ever had double-digit sacks.
That was it.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be Alex Wright. I'm still open to the idea that my eyes are blurry when I'm looking at McGuire and I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to be seeing or what PFF is seeing. So maybe I'm holding out hope that maybe he can be the guy. But I like this question, and here's why. Here's my takeaway from this. He may not have a superstar on the line with him, but when you take all of the pieces on the defensive front for the Cleveland Browns, it's possible. I'm not saying that we're there yet. This could be the best defensive front that he's had to work with. When you talk about Mason Graham is a first-round draft pick. Mike Hall is a guy who flashed big time last year. We're talking about, is it McGuire or Wright? Well, there's four guys.
To catch the full breakdown, just search the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on YouTube, subscribe to their page, and enjoy daily content covering all things Cleveland sports. We'll be back to wrap up this week's Ohio Sports Magazine when we continue on the Ohio News Network.
Common Man and Timmy.
My back hurt from putting today. But Warrior Dash, you want me to roll around and run up the warped wall? Get out of your damn mind.
Let's go.
Common Man and Timmy Afternoons on the Fan is sponsored by Hinderer Motorsports.
On Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app. New customers opt in and get a free lottery ticket. Download the app and start ordering lottery tickets today. Use code VOCAL. That's code VOCAL on Jackpocket. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 or older. Jackpocket is a lottery courier and not affiliated with the Ohio Lottery. Opt in for $5 in non-withdrawable lottery credits that expire in 168 hours. Terms at jkpt.co/draw5.
Here's 3 reasons to buy your Blue Jackets ticket plans for the 25-26 season. 1, pick your seat and pick your games. 2, plans start at just 11 games. 3, flexible payment plans. Act now. Visit bluejackets.com/tickets.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu. An Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that two-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
He's at the 10, the 5, touchdown. This is what the Buckeyes train so hard for.
Just like Valvoline Instant Oil Change, their techs train like pros to deliver expert service every time.
Wait, are we talking football or oil changes?
Both. Whether it's the Buckeyes on the field or your car in the bay, it's all about preparation and precision.
Can't argue with that.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Visit VIOC.com/Buckeyes today.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013, 800-444-2013, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-444-2013.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZzzQuil Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
No school means no lunch for millions of kids in the summer. Let's come together, food banks, families, and generous individuals like you to make sure no child goes without food in the summer. Together, we can make a difference. Learn more at feedingamerica.org/summer.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Big thank yous to Dan Horde, Ryan Mitchell, and Neil Sika for being guests on this week's Ohio Sports Magazine. Thanks to all of our Locked On podcast contributors this week as well. For Colin Behringer, Eric Reeser, and Ryan Baker, I'm Jay Fox. Thanks for listening to Ohio Sports Magazine, and join us next week right here on the Ohio News Network.